Once upon a time, Annie was frozen by her anxiety. She could hardly move or see joy anywhere, until one day she realized her own thoughts could thaw her from the inside. Annie began using her thoughts more and more each day until she warmed up. Then she discovered she was living in a beautiful enchanted forest, which she can now fully experience. This is Annie's manifesting success story. Hello and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am back with the fabulous Annie for her 7th interview in her Years of Growth series. Welcome, Annie.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you today. We are celebrating 1 year that you have been in the Enchanted Circle today.
That's exciting.
That is exciting. Oh my gosh. So tell us how your future self showed up today.
I went on a bike ride in the morning and it snowed and I canceled my day and had fun at home instead of, one of my friends said it took her 4 hours to drive into Denver.
Gosh.
And I was like, oh, I'm not doing that.
Right?
Yeah. And I just rescheduled and it worked out great. So, yeah.
Yay, that's awesome. All right, what else is awesome?
What's awesome is that my jobs are going really well, my businesses are going well, and I've been really growing, and it's been exciting.
Yay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. So what would you say are the 3 biggest differences in who you are now than who you were a year ago?
My mind functions in a whole different way, and I'm much nicer to myself, which is fabulous.
That is fabulous.
Turns out I can operate greatly without shame and guilt, which is cool.
Yay! That's like we're laughing and we're saying that in passing, but that is such a huge thing. I can operate, what'd you call it? Amazingly? Without shame and guilt. Yeah. Yes. That is huge.
I just feel so much lighter, and I always thought I was really positive, and I was really positive to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And to myself, I didn't realize how I was just beating myself up and like had this pressure, this self-driven pressure, but not a good pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure cooking.
Yes.
And so I don't know if I've said more than 3 things.
No, I think you're on number 3. Yeah.
The amount of joy and happiness, how present I am, how I see all of the beauty. And I've always, for 20 years, done LOA and been grateful. But it's this last year of investing in myself has given me just a deeper experience of life. And it just, every time I turn around, it's joy and beauty and abundance. And
yay! That's awesome. I love it. I'm curious, what do you think the answer will be 4 years from now when I say you've been in the Enchanted Circle for 5 years?
What do I think? Oh my goodness, after 5 years of investing myself, wow. I think every moment, more wonder and joy and abundance and happiness.
Yeah.
All of my relationships have deepened, and I just feel really present with everyone. And I'm guessing after 5 more years of that, 5 more years of me being authentic and happy and present, everything's going to be richer and more happy.
Yes. More joy. Yes. It's so true. I'm excited to pull this out.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Ah, I love that. All right. So I think I want to ask this. What do you think is the biggest difference in who you are as a mom from a year ago? Do you think there is a difference?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you describe that difference?
Well, I've dropped guilt, which I'm not parenting through a guilty lens anymore. So,
Wow.
well, I had some guilt going on about
Yeah.
and I thought I had worked through it, and now I really have dropped it, and I'm looking at my son in a much different way,
Mhm.
um and holding a picture of possibilities for him that is much yeah, it's just more expansive, and I'm parenting through that now. Does that make
Yeah, you're parenting through like the possibility that you're holding, right? Which
Yeah.
is so juicy. Like cuz it's not so often I think when people think LOA and parents and holding a vision for my kid, like that's all awesome, but what it does is when you parent through that vision and that possibility, you show up different. Like you
Mhm.
show up to support that possibility becoming the probability.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Oh,
they feel a difference. Leo came up to me one day um and he said, um so my son is awesome, and he has his
mhm.
own unique way of
Is amazing.
communicating. He really is. But he came up, he like put his hand on my heart, and he said, Mom, um, your heart is so full. He said, your heart is so full. You're so happy. And he's like,
Oh,
he's like, it's
oh,
not that from me. Like he can feel it, and he's just been happier and more at ease. Uh,
yeah.
yeah. And I think I was parenting through this pressure of wanting to make his life as good as it could possibly be. So I was like pressured into
Uh-huh.
helping him be independent and helping him learn things. And now I've taken that out and stepped into this place of absolutely knowing he is going to learn everything he needs to, wants to. Um, and it's okay, and this can be fun, this can be a joyful, fun process, and he's picked up on that.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Ah, that's so awesome. I love, oh, so good. What about as a business owner? What's the biggest difference in who you are as a business owner? I know I didn't prep you for these questions. I just came
No,
up with them as we started.
it's fun to think about it. It's fun to think about it because I am not feel like everything I'm saying is I'm not coming from fear anymore.
Yeah.
I and um I'm confident, and I've been in private practice a year now, and one of my colleagues just said the other day, isn't it so incredible to see how your private practice has just grown? Like, because I went somewhere, and one of my colleagues said, hey, I'm trying to see if we could get you to come work here one day a week. Would you be open to that? And every time I turn around, someone is offering me to work, like, and I'm really needing to be no thanks or yes, that's awesome. Because the work is just everywhere, and yeah, I think my confidence level and possibilities, I don't know if that's me as a business owner, but there are just so many possibilities everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm creating an intentional business. Yeah.
Yeah. Say more about that. Like, what is that? Like, what do you think you were, what do you think you were creating a year ago?
Well, every time I turned around, I just said, yes, 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 yes. If everybody was like, I had this, oh gosh, I don't know where business is going to come from. So I just have to say, yes. Hey, will you drive to Kansas to do this? Sure. Yes. after being in Kansas, will you go over to Southern Colorado and be there an hour? Sure. And so I was just like, yes. And so you can feel the difference.
Yes.
I was very excited, but I was also very frantic and like worried about where business would come from and what and now I have a deep sense of knowing that the perfect clients to fit my schedule, to fit my skill set. I don't have to be nervous about it. They'll be there. They are here.
Yeah. And you actually have more than enough.
Yeah, more than enough. Yeah, I need to clone me.
That's awesome. Oh, that's amazing. I love hearing that because it's so cool. And it's not just, I mean, when you say intentional, how would you describe like an intentional business? Like, what are you doing now and creating an intentional business?
Not only holding a picture of what I want financially in a business, but how I want it to feel. How, and thank you, because it's funny because I'm a therapist, so I would think I would be focused on that, but really, how I want it to feel, how I want it to be function, where I want it to go. And some I don't really know yet, but it's okay that I don't know yet because I know how I want it to feel, and it's going to expand in this way. It already has expanded in a way that I couldn't have imagined.
That is amazing.
I answered.
Yeah. That's what you're making choices that are intentional versus out of fear or just because, right? You're intentionally like, it's not just, if I say yes to this, like this day or this office or this client, does it like, yes, like, it's not an automatic yes because it financially impacts you. There are other things like, how does it make me feel? And does it fit into my schedule in an easy way? Right. Or am I like driving to Kansas for an hour? Right.
And if I want to do that, sure. But
right. But you're choosing to, right? It's not like, oh yeah, for like, the money I'll drive. Yeah.
Or I have to say yes to everything. It's okay to say no or refer out or
Yeah, I love it. What's the difference in your bank account in a year?
Lots. There's lots and lots more money in there. I can't even say how it hasn't doubled, tripled. I don't even know what it's done.
Yay!
There's so much more. And that feels so good. It feels so good to make decisions, not only financially. I still think about finances, of course, but that's not the driving force. And it's definitely not around fear, which is really good.
Oh, I love it. So how do you make the decisions to invest or the decisions that involve finances and money in your life now?
And I'm still working on a few things.
We'll get to that. Like, we'll come to there's still some things to do, but I love the way you said that, right? Like, what's the amount in the bank account isn't what drives your decision, right? Which, for people listening, like that can drive both. Like often it drives, like when we make the decision based on the bank account, often it can cost us more money down the road, or it's not just when we're like getting the things that make us happy or things like that. It just, when that's the only factor that we factor in, it impacts a lot of things. And it's not just, it doesn't always save us money in the long term.
No. And I think the amount of peace I feel is really different, and peace in knowing that even if I don't know how to make a decision or a financial decision, because in the past I would always say, oh, I'm great at the people part of my job, but the business part or the numbers part, not so much, or paperwork part, but that's not me anymore. Like I'm learning. Anything I don't know how to do, I can learn how to do it. Or I can hire someone to do it and teach me. Or I don't have to do everything on my own too. It's okay to not be good at something, and I just have to figure out how to get it done.
Yeah. How different is that? That's new, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knowing when to outsource.
Yes. Yeah, I love it. I have this, there's so many amazing things that like you've said, and I want to make sure that we talk about this because I don't think we talked about it, but like a year ago or sometime into the Enchanted Circle, maybe even before the Circle, you had an idea that like you wanted to have a scholarship fund,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. And in this last year, you've actually been able to identify, I don't know if you've actually given it out, but you started to give that scholarship out and started the process, right?
Yeah. I'm in the process, and I'm in the process, and I haven't completed this process yet of making it a sustainable thing that will happen every year. And um, yeah,
But yeah, but you got to get, you went from this like dream of one time there's a scholarship fund to like somebody showed up and you're like, "Oh, yeah, here's the first recipient cuz I have the money," right?
yeah.
Yeah. How did that feel?
Good. And I haven't given the money yet because I
Yeah.
decided that I really need, there's a thing I have to do first
Yeah.
before, in order to kind of, I don't know if this makes sense, but to trust myself with money, I am making myself do. It'd be way more fun to give this money to this person, right? Like
Right.
my
Yeah.
whole scholarship fund is about helping single moms with kids with special needs, and I'd much rather do that than pay my taxes.
Right?
I
Yeah.
almost did. The first amount of money, I was like, "Oh, I can do this now. I can give this away." And then I was like, "Wait a second, like, well, hold on," because I want to have a business that is thriving and not go. We were on a call once, and you were like, "Well, you don't have to spend that all. um like, you don't have to buy, because there are things I want to do, like buy Leo some medical equipment,
Uh-huh.
um do this scholarship, and I believe you don't have to rush. So right now I'm just having it in my account
Yes.
and being comfortable with it being there. And I know it's going to go, there's going to be some, do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
know I'm going to do the scholarship, but I
Yeah.
need it to not deplete. I needed to do it
Yeah.
in an intentional way, and not just because it was uncomfortable to have this money in my account. So I need
Yes.
to give it away. And so yes.
That's amazing. And I love that you caught that. Like, because you got to experience both amazingness, right? It's like you got to experience the moment of like, here's the scholarship recipient, and I could do it right now. And like also be able to step back and be like, no, like I can take care of me first. And that is actually makes the scholarship better, right? Because I can learn to have more money in my account, which is something that like you're working on and we've been working on, is like getting comfortable with having more money.
Mhm.
And I can do it the right way, and I can take care of A, B, and the things that I need to first. And also that, yeah, you don't have to fall back into that old story of like, I have to get rid of it so I don't have it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which
That's
is
so odd.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it feels so good. And so I'm excited to hear about when, and I love hearing that update because I actually didn't know that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited to hear when you do give it, and it's when everything else is taken care, like you're fully taken care of. And that really is
Yeah.
what it is, right? Is it's a self-worth and it's a self-honoring thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay too, that because in the past I would have gone towards guilt for deciding to not give it to the person yet,
Mm-hmm.
because I really want to, and I know that I'm going to be able to give more because I am doing it this way.
Yeah.
And I don't feel guilty because this is important.
Yeah, it is, right? And
Yeah.
it's you don't have to feel guilty because it's okay to take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
And because when we take care of ourselves first, we create sustainability.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, me too.
I love it. So what is the difference? Like, talk about, if you will, like your self-worth. Like, how is that look and feel different than it did a year ago?
Well, it gets way more airtime in my life.
Yay!
I don't think I really thought of it before. And a large part of the beginning of the Enchanted Circle and the Manifest 10K is like making the list of things you want, and then I am worthy of that. And so I just did it last night with some things, and I am worthy of ... I'm worthy of ... and so much of it is wrapped up in it, and in my self-worth. And I now feel very, I'm worthy of all sorts of loveliness.
Yay!
And it's because of what I've been thinking lately of like my billing, like I'm worthy of doing my billing. Like I'm worthy of having all of this taken care of and not needing to worry about it and being secure in that area. And because I wonder if sometimes I am leaving something undone so I can feel shitty about it.
Yeah.
Because of that old pattern.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it seems like that might be maybe something.
Yeah. And I love that you're seeing that, because that is like when we start to grow out of certain things, like one of the opportunities it gives us is like, there's so much change and that's awesome, but it also gives us the opportunity to see all the other stuff. Right. But now you can see it and you're like, that's interesting. Like, let me just look at it instead of like have all these other feelings about it. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. Which is, like, and you're still growing and everything is perfect. So let's talk a little bit about that and your bank account and like billing and just sort of that process. And
Okay.
So I would love if you shared, how did you say it? Like there's things going on and you see your old story pop up a little bit, but instead of going into certain things, what have you been saying to yourself when you see that? It'll just be here.
So, well, for example, the billing stuff. And when I first started the Enchanted Circle, I would not be billing and then be very fearful about it, very guilt. Oh, I'm awful at this. Oh, I'm horrible at this. I can't do this. I'm not a business person. I'm awful. And so I stopped that, and I can do this. I'm completely, perfectly capable. Sometimes I don't do it. And usually there's there's something that I am, I'm working on, like, as far as in getting more comfortable with having lots of money in my account.
Yes.
Like there's usually, so now instead of going to that 2x4 and being like, oh, I'm so bad at this, or feeling all this guilt, is like, so this feels the same, but it's not the same. This is different. There's something here for me. I know there must be something that I'm needing to get. And I wonder how this is going to work out. And then I know I'm not there as long. Like I was going to be billing today, and I chose to enjoy my snow day. But I'm
which is awesome.
And the exciting thing is, I'm billing enough to thrive and have way more than enough.
Yeah. So it's not a you don't have to bill out of like sort of this desperate panic, right? Your billings have gotten so much that really they can cover you for 2 months, maybe more.
And I'm like, there are deadlines with those other bills. So step up on it. But so I'm not as down on myself about it, and I'm learning whenever because it seems like I'll be really good with it for a few months, and then I'll revisit it in a different way.
Yeah. Yes, in a different way. And I would say in these past ones, it's because there's more money, right? It's because like, oh, then this means there's going to be like a lot more money in my account than I'm used to, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
completely exactly that.
Yeah. And so I love, and I want to highlight this for listeners, like what you said is I can see, like, as soon as you stop, I love that you said the 2x4, right? When you don't pull that out, like you can see it and you can analyze it. And what you said was, I can see that this feels similar. And yet I know, like, you're aware enough to know, but like, it's not the same thing. Like, it might be the same pattern, but it's not for the same reason.
Mhm.
Right. And so let me like just see what's here, which is fun. And then before we even started the call, it was like, I'm getting used to like that amount. And like, it's almost, you're like preparing almost is what I hear from you is like to have that like double and triple what's ever been in your account. Like
Yeah.
you're like mentally like preparing. That's sort of like what putting off the billing is about is getting ready for it. Right.
Yeah. It's so funny that it is not hard, but it is a laborious process to have. You think, oh, the more money in my account, the better. Yeah. And like it is a process of moving into it, of feeling comfortable with it, of, yeah, it's funny because I had maybe a couple of years ago, I had taken an old bank statement and then taken what was in it and added some numbers. So there was like 10 times what in there. And now I have that in my accounts. And so it's like, just the possibilities are endless and it's exciting. And it's also a process of, in a way, like an exercise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a becoming. It's just fully stepping into that person who can have that, right? And so and we always think, I think that it's like one step. It's not. It's like you had to practice becoming the person who could create that, and you've mastered that, right? Like you've created it. It's just sitting there sort of in a holding, and you're just finishing out the beingness of the person who can accept it in and allow it and and fully enjoy it. And it's just there's lots of steps to beingness, even though often we talk about it as like seems like a one step thing. It's not.
No, and I can feel it. Like it feels like on a cellular level. Like I can feel myself expanding. And I think I talked about that a bit last time, that like I can feel this change happening. And I think that means it's going to stick too, because I think, at the live event, you said something, and Jenny said something that like, I am not the same person. There's no possible way that I could make the same decisions and have the same outcome, because I am not the same person on all levels. And I was thinking about that a few days later, that it's so true. It's just so true that I don't think the same. I like have a whole new way of being, and I really feel that.
Yeah, that's awesome. It does mean it's going to stick. And it does. It's just that was a great example of how like we change, but then in another area of our life, something pops up and we think we're going to be that old person, but we just need to be reminded, like, no way. Like we can't be up here in one thing and way down here in another, right? Like you are this person. Even if there's things you haven't experienced in a while, you will do them differently. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Well, happy 1 year in the Enchanted Circle. I'm so glad that you said yes and like showed up and are amazing at doing the work. Any advice or final thoughts or anything that you want to make sure you share today?
I don't think so. Nothing helps out.
I love it. That's perfect. And you trust that, which is perfect. Like, yay. I think that's a celebration in itself because I think you would force it before, right?
Yeah. And I really appreciate the time to reflect and to look back because, um, I listened to one of my recordings,
Yes.
and um, I had such self-love for myself and such like just acceptance and appreciation for where I've been on my journey on my whole life and where I'm going and where I am now. And I just felt so much like, yeah, self-love and appreciation. And so thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Ah, my pleasure. And thank you for sharing this moment in your journey with us. It's been amazing. I'm looking forward to the next interview and your first and your second year. It's going to be amazing. Everyone listening, make sure to come back and hear what else is awesome in Annie's life next time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us today. If you are inspired and you're ready to start writing a new money story, a new life story, to really pick the pin up and design your happy ever after, go to enchantedlifeu.com. That's enchantedlifeu.com to get started. For any links that we talked about in the show, you can find the show notes at manifestingsuccessstories.com.